We just experienced an earthquake in Miami because my building was shaking.
Yep, several buildings were shaking. This is breaking right now at 4 o'clock as we are learning of a strong earthquake in the southern Gulf just off Cuba. It rattled parts of South Florida this afternoon.
The U.S. Geological Survey said it was a 6.1 magnitude quake that struck at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
People in parts of South Florida, maybe you reported feeling something.
And Shanae Amara is live with us from downtown Miami, where people actually were evacuated there from the Stephen P. Clark Government Center. Shanae, what can you tell us? They were evacuated just as a precaution, right?
Yeah, so, for many people here, they actually didn't realize what was going on until they saw others react, and then they were like, whoa, something big is happening. So standing outside when you drive around or when you look around, it does feel like a regular Monday afternoon. But as I step out of the way and you look a little closer, as we zoom our camera in, you're going to see yellow tape. MDSO deputies guarding the building here and people outside. So obviously things look off because just a couple hours ago, the Stephen P. Clark Center, the government center here, was evacuated after people inside reported feeling the building shaking. That shaking, of course, tied to that earthquake recorded off the coast of Cuba. Now, according to the U.S. Geological Survey, the quake struck west of Cuba, again in the southern Gulf, at a magnitude 6.1, and hundreds of miles away from that, right here in Miami. Yeah, we had reports of shaking being felt all across social media, including downtown Miami. Now, Miami-Dade Fire Rescue also reported getting at least 4 calls related to high-rise buildings shaking. They said they investigated and cleared those calls. And here at the Stephen P. Clark Government Center, we spoke to people who were inside the building when it all happened. Take a listen.
Well, I felt the ground shaking, and then I felt the monitor moving back and forth. Oh my God. And I wasn't sure. I'm like, this is my imagination or this is happening? But then that's what I heard. Everyone needs to evacuate. But apparently it happened twice, but I felt it once.
Okay, when you heard everybody has to get out, everybody has to evacuate, what was going through your mind in that moment?
It was scary because I didn't know what was happening. This is the first time I go through this.
Yeah, a lot of folks shaken up who felt it that I spoke with. Employees have been getting text updates. You're looking at an example of one of those texts. This one says SPCC evacuation due to unspecified reports of building shaking. But people are still not allowed back in the building for now. Meanwhile, though, emergency officials say there's no tsunami threat associated with this quake. Of course, that is good news there. And back out here live, of course, we're going to keep gathering information and talking to folks who experienced this and seeing if there are any other local impacts related to that reported earthquake. We're now reporting live. Shanae Amara, NBC 6 News.
Shanae, thank you. We want to continue the conversation now with First Alert meteorologist Ryan Phillips to break down the latest. Ryan.
Yeah, guys, not a whole lot to add there. I mean, here we have a 6.1 magnitude earthquake, which is about 16 miles below the Earth's surface. Not the surface of the water here in the Gulf, but below the Earth's surface. This is about 250 miles to the southwest of Key West. And so having some far-reaching effects of a 6.1, pretty impressive. This happened at about 2 o'clock. And, of course, some of the did you feel it reports coming into the Geological Service places, folks, in the Tampa and the West Coast area, Central Florida, even here in South Florida. But, again, just another day in California or Alaska, but here in South Florida, if you don't know what it is or what to think it is, of course, you have to take preventative action, as Shanae just outlined, in downtown Miami. The most important takeaway from what Shanae was delivering, there's no threat. We have not had any aftershocks, and there is no tsunami watch, warning, or advisory in place. So now it's business as usual. But again, a 6.1 magnitude earthquake at 2 o'clock just off the northwest coast of Cuba. Ladies?
With that being said, we do want to hear from you. If you did feel the earthquake or any rattles or happen to catch it on camera, send us an email at ic@nbc6.org. And we'll continue updating you, obviously, as we get more reports in and videos and testimonies. We'll have it on here, not only here on air, but on our digital platforms as well.